So I'm back home in Austin this weekend and visiting family. We all like sweet things and we like baking. So I decided to make chocolate chip cookies. So I'm going to show you guys my process and how I make my cookies. First thing is to set out the butter so it's softened, so it's easier to mix with the other ingredients. Then I pull out all the wet ingredients. So eggs, baking soda, salt, and vanilla with our semi-sweet chocolate chips. Over here, we have the dry ingredients that we'll use later, which is flour, brown sugar, and regular sugar. We have pulled out our KitchenAid mixing bowl. So we are going to first put in 1 cup of butter, so 2 sticks, and we are going to combine that with regular sugar, brown sugar, and vanilla, and we are going to mix that in there. Now I'm going to take 3/4 of regular sugar and brown sugar and put it in there. And a trick that I learned growing up is you take a kitchen knife to level off your measuring cup just to make sure you get the perfect amount. Usually with sugar, it's not that big of a deal. It's mainly when we get to flour, but you're going to add 3/4 of that into our mixing bowl. My dog Buster has decided to come in and be sous chef of the evening. Now we're gonna do the brown sugar, and this one's a little harder because it's more moist, so it's kind of harder to pack in there. But we are going to, again, like I said, do 3/4 of brown sugar. All right, and now we put that down in there, and we are going to make sure you lock your blender because you don't want all of this to go everywhere, and then we'll slightly start to mix these ingredients. While that is kind of getting creamy, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract into the mixing bowl. Now it's time to add 2 large eggs to my mixture. I'll be honest, I'm not the best at cracking eggs, so we'll see how this goes. 1 down, no shells. Maybe we'll go 2 for 2. Oh, yep, 2 for 2. Success. Also, might I add, this is kind of the consistency you want. It's just fluffy and creamy before you add your eggs in. Now we're going to do 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And I'm gonna do this before I mix the eggs, just so it all mixes well together. And 1 teaspoon of salt is gonna go in there. So hopefully I do not spill this everywhere. But yeah, and make sure you lock it down and slowly turn it on. This is one of my favorite parts, is adding in the flour, because it makes the cookie dough actually become like fluffy and more obviously edible. So we are going to put 2 1/4 cups into our mixing bowl, but I'm going to slowly add it in as it's mixing, not all at once. While that is now mixing, we are going to preheat our oven to 375 and get that heated up. So as this mixes, before we want to add in chocolate chips, I'm going to clean up my workspace and put away all the ingredients so we can actually put the cookie dough onto cookie sheets. We really enjoy using semi-sweet chocolate chips. We just feel like they taste the best, especially when they bake. But since it's fall, I think I might add some chopped pecans just to add a different texture in there, but we will see. It's important to taste your chocolate chips before you put them in your cookie dough because they can be poisonous, and I don't want anyone to harm themselves from chocolate chips. And I realized they'll crush in the mixing bowl, so, and there's only a little bit, so it'll just give it some fun fall flavor, hopefully. Hopefully it doesn't make them taste bad. Now we line our cookie sheets with parchment paper just so they don't stick onto your cookie sheet. Now we are going to slowly start it and put our chocolate chips into the bowl. And then I think I'm gonna crush these up before I put them in here. So I think it's important to take 2 kitchen tablespoons. It's easy to scoop up the cookie dough, kind of like shape it and mold it and place it on here without getting your hands super gross. So we are going to start assembling this cookie tray, and we'll probably end up needing another one. This is about the size I like to make my cookie dough balls, just because they turn out to be a medium size, not too big and not too small. I'm gonna let that first batch cook for about 9 minutes, and then I'll check on them because sometimes they need to go longer. But while that is cooking, I'm going to actually get another cookie sheet, and we're going to finish up the rest of this cookie dough. So the first batch of cookies came out, and to test it, I take a toothpick and I stick it down the middle, and stuff still came up, so I'm gonna put it back in for about like 2 minutes. Now when the cookies come out of the oven, they're gonna have a lot of oil in them. So I like to take paper sacks from the grocery store that you can just reuse, cut them up, lay them out on your countertop, and then place your cookies on there to cool, and it'll soak up all the oil. So now I can transfer these cookies onto this cut up bag, and it'll soak up the oil. Thank you everyone for baking cookies with me. I have finished, so now we are going to enjoy, and we have some dessert for later. Thank you.